and he is a teacher of Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhav, Bhakti Vedant, and teaching in different parts of India and of course outside as well. He is a member of ISKCON Board of Examiner. He was a member of ISKCON Board of Examination and served as a Secretary General for ISKCON LEADS. The LEADS is the Leadership Education and Development System. So when we as a student, when we are studying Bhakti Vaibhav, many things that we learn from Prabhu, and the first and foremost is that everything is there in Srila Prabhupada books. And how to study Srila Prabhupada books very scrutinizingly, systematically, that we should learn from Prabhuji. It's so wonderful that, and by the Lord's mercy, he has such an amazing memory. We just ask this particular paragraph, which chapter.
Krishna gives memory.
Yeah.
If Krishna doesn't give.
And Prabhu would actually tell which part of the paragraph and which purport that Srila Prabhupada is quoting this particular statement, and he like as it is. So, and there is nothing left that we have to study outside of Srila Prabhupada to understand how to go back to Godhead. So it is our great fortune that His Grace Vamsi Vadan Prji is here. So let's welcome Prabhu by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Thank you. Class till? Till what time class?
10:15.
10:15.
This is fast one. This one is
No, I'm saying my watch.
Oh, okay.
English, Hindi?
Whatever.
No, whatever.
Generally we do English.
The general. Or you want Marathi?
I think only few of us will be, the rest will be said. Thank you.
Okay, so first of all, I would like to thank His Grace Yugal Kishore Prabhu and all the devotees here for kindly inviting me to render some service. So I'm grateful to you for the opportunity to do this service. Of course, Yugal Kishore Prabhu, very senior devotee, but very humbly presenting himself as a student. Okay, so we have been told to discuss Canto 5, Chapter 18, the residents of Jambudweep offer prayers, text 28. So it's displayed here, or everyone has got in the mobiles? See, it'll take time, I think. Krishna.
Sorry, 28.
Yeah. Okay, let's decide. Bhavan Yuganta Nava Urmi Malini Kshonim Imam Oshadi Virudham Nidhim Maya Sahoru Kramate Tasmai Jagat Pranaganatmane Namaliti Bhavan Yuganta Nava Urmi Malini Kshonim Mimamo Shadi Virudham Nidhim Maya Sahoru Kramati and vegetables. And that is why we are able to consume them. And then, okay, so we may grow them, and but ultimately the seeds, we cannot produce the seeds, and we can only sow the seeds in the ground, and after that, from where does the water come? That also we cannot produce water. And then we pour the water, that much trouble we may take. Of course, even if we don't pour the water, the rain comes. And then the crops grow, and then the moon is giving all the juice. And then we can take a little trouble to purchase them and cook them and eat them. And after eating, then what? Who digests them?
Fire.
Huh? Which fire? So Krishna says, Aham Vaishvanaro Bhutva. So there is an expansion of the Supreme Lord within the stomach called Vaishvanara. And he is doing all the Pachami Aham, he is doing all the digestive work. So fruits, vegetables, grains, Lord is only giving. To grow them, the Lord is providing everything. To digest them, Lord is doing that. What are we doing then? Huh? What are we doing? At the most we can do that. So just think about it, how much we are dependent. How much we are dependent. So when Vaishmanara within the stomach does not function, we know what happens. So we are so dependent. And yet we claim to be independent. We are an independent, correct? We may claim to be independent nation, but what is our independence? At every moment we are so dependent. And so therefore, it's only a foolish person, as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 3rd chapter, 27th verse. Anybody knows what is 3rd chapter, 27th verse? Yes, prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudhatma karta aham iti manyate. So everything is being done by prakriti, but only one who is vimudhatma, only one who is a foolish person thinks that I am the doer, I am doing everything. So therefore, Srila Prabhupada is saying, envious persons cannot appreciate how wonderfully the Lord creates, maintains, and directs the universe. Who cannot understand? Envious persons. They cannot understand. So therefore, the qualification required to understand the Bhagavad Gita, to understand about the Supreme Lord is what? Non-enviousness. Bhagavad Gita, 9. Krishna is telling Arjuna, I'm giving you this knowledge because you are anasuyave, because you are non-envious. Because if somebody is envious, then he cannot appreciate the glory of the Supreme Lord. Because envious person thinks, I should become the most glorious. Why should anybody else get the glory? Cannot appreciate. So therefore, if we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we want to understand the Supreme Lord, one has to give up envy. One must become non-envious. So when one does not have envy, then one will have faith in what the Lord speaks in the Bhagavad Gita. So faith has to be there. So if there's no faith, then one will think, oh, what Krishna is speaking in Bhagavad Gita is exaggerating everything and speaking too much. Srila Prabhupada says in one lecture. So when Krishna says, Sarvadharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Braja, give up all other types of dharma, simply surrender to me. Those who are envious will say, this is too much. Give up everything, simply surrender. So those who are envious cannot understand, they cannot surrender. They cannot have faith. So I'm sure most of you will know the story of the Brahman and the cobbler. Somebody would like to tell the story? Yes, Prabhu.
So one time the Lord was there by and the Narad Muni was sitting with him. Then Narad Muni asked who is the best devotee. No. So Narad Muni was passing through the members and then he saw a cobbler and
Brahmana.
Then Brahmana asked Narad Muni, where are you going? He said, I'm going to meet the Lord. He said, okay, just ask. Will I get
go back to Godhead in this life itself? He said, okay. When he meet him and ask him. Then he again went forward and he saw a cobbler sitting there. Then even the cobbler asked, Lord, where are you going? He said, I'm going to meet the Lord. He said, just ask me when I will get
liberation.
Yes. So Narad Muni went to Golaka and he was worshipping Lord. Then when he was returning, he asked Lord, I met two of them devotees and they were asking when they will get anything. He said, tell the cobbler we will get in this lifetime itself and Brahmana will take so many births again. He didn't understand, okay, he went down. Then the Brahmana asked, you went Lord? Yes. What the Lord was doing? And he was saying he was putting elephant in the eye of the needle. Then he said, Brahmana started laughing. What you are talking, Narad Muni? How can that happen? Then he said, okay, tell me what happened to the Lord. Did you ask about the Lord that when I get go back to Godhead? He said, you take many months you will take. He was very annoyed. Then Narad Muni went
So he said, no, you never went to Vaikuntha.
Okay. So you will never go to Vaikuntha. So again Narad Muni started from there and went to cobbler. Then he asked, he greeted him nicely and then asked him, oh Lord, you met my Lord and what my Lord was doing. He said the same thing again, Narad Muni, that he was putting the tail of the elephant in the
Not tail, the whole elephant. Not to anything.
And the Brahmana said, the cobbler said, oh yes, my Lord can do anything. So he started praising the Lord. Then he said, Narad Muni said, the Lord said, you will come back to my abode in this lifetime itself. So this was the story.
One important point remaining. What is that?
seed of the tree.
Seed of which tree?
The big tree with a small seed.
So Narad Muni asked him, how do you have faith that the Lord was pushing an elephant through the eye of a needle? So the comrade said, my Lord can do anything. What is so surprising? Just see this banyan seed, one small seed, one small fruit, within that there are so many seeds, and from each seed, huge banyan tree can come. So if such a huge banyan tree can be put in a small seed, then the Lord can do it. So this is called faith. So when one is non-envious, one can have faith. But if one is envious, one cannot have faith. And so therefore, it is very important that one develops faith in the scriptures and faith in the process of devotional service. That faith comes through what? Association. That faith develops in association of devotees. So that's how we find in the early days of a movement, when the hippies and the new people were coming to Srila Prabhupada, they were not able to understand so much philosophy, they never heard of who is Krishna, they didn't understand all those things. But by the association of Srila Prabhupada had such firm faith in the chanting of the holy names, in Krishna, that just by a brief association with Srila Prabhupada, they developed so much of faith in Krishna, in the process of devotional service, that they were ready to sacrifice everything for Krishna and Srila Prabhupada. That is what happens by association. And that is what should happen. So anyone can say, oh, I have faith, I know Krishna. Just like when Srila Prabhupada was preaching in India before he went to the West. So wherever he would go, people would, Indians would, oh, we know Krishna, Ram, we know. What are you going to teach? We know everything. But was there any change in their lives? No change. But the Westerners, when they came in contact with Srila Prabhupada, there was transformation. That is the symptom of faith. When one has faith, then he is ready to bring about a change in life. To give you a simple mundane example, which I'm sure you'll be able to appreciate. So just like these days we hear students are studying for IIT, JEE. Which class? Huh? Right from 6, they are preparing for IIT. Okay? Why? Why? Huh? They have full faith. They have full faith that if I get entrance into the abode of IIT, then perfection in life is guaranteed. The ultimate abode on the planet Earth. Okay? They have faith. Because they have faith, they are ready to work for it. Okay? Or I'm sure many of you definitely had faith that entering the IT industry will also lead to perfection, right? Here, especially in Bangalore. But then, of course, by Srila Prabhupada's grace, then something changed. But the point is that faith leads to transformation. That's the point. Nobody can say, I have faith, and yet there is no change. So therefore, if we want that faith to develop in the process of devotional service, then the right type of association is very important. So, as Srila Prabhupada is beginning this purport talking about envious persons, and he also concludes the purport by talking again he talks about envious persons at the end also. Envious persons cannot see this, but a devotee, even though very humble and even if uneducated, like the cobbler was uneducated, knows that behind all the activities of nature is the supreme hand of the Supreme Being. And so therefore, it is very important for us to associate with devotees who have that faith and who are non-envious. That type of association is very important so that we have faith in the Supreme Lord and understand this philosophy that is being spoken of over here. And so therefore, as devotees of ISKCON, it is very important that we regularly associate with our founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada. Because he showed, through his activities, he showed the faith that he had in the Supreme Lord. And he also injected that faith into those who sincerely followed him. So these days we find that thanks to social media, YouTube and all that, there are so many lectures of so many personalities available. Correct? Both within ISKCON and without ISKCON and outside of ISKCON. And so sometimes our ISKCON devotees also think, we have heard these ISKCON devotees since quite some time and they keep speaking the same thing all. So let us get some new rasa. South India rasam. So some new variety of rasam. And it's so easy to get, right? Everyone has their favorite device. The whole world is available. And so one thing, okay, let me get some variety. Let me hear some other personalities who are speaking very eloquently, very wonderfully, very beautifully, some nice stories, this, that. And in India, there are so many Babas and Bapus and Ammas and so many people are there. Of course, we respect all of them. Yet, it is very important, if we want to get that faith and progress in devotional service, then we need to associate with those devotees who have that faith. And not be attracted simply on a sentimental platform. So, first of all, as here, Vaivasvat Manu is grateful to whom? To Matsya Avatar for having saved him when there was annihilation. He's offering prayers and feeling gratitude. So as far as all of us are concerned, who has saved us from the repetition of the cycle of birth and death, and maybe even going to hell? Who has saved us? Who has saved? Srila Prabhupada and his devotees. They have saved us. So, is it not essential that we show gratitude? Yes or no?
Yes.
So, how can we show gratitude? Yes, thank you. By assisting in Srila Prabhupada's mission, by hearing from him, by following him, that is how we can show our gratitude. And so therefore, it's very important for us to maintain that loyalty to Srila Prabhupada by hearing from him, taking instructions from him, and the devotees who are following him, and sincerely trying to assist in the ISKCON movement. That is how we can show a little bit of gratitude. We have been saved. And so therefore, that is what is very important for us to understand Krishna, to understand the philosophy. Otherwise, we can get a lot of information. We may read volumes of books, but transformation will not take place unless there is grace, unless there is mercy. Without mercy, knowledge will not turn into realization. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna uses two words, what? Gyan and Vigyan. So Gyan is theoretical knowledge, Vigyan is realized knowledge. What is the difference between the two? The difference is that when one has realized knowledge, one has full faith and conviction. Theoretical knowledge, very easy to get. Theoretical knowledge, very easy to get, right? Especially these days, any Veda, Upanishad, whatever you want. How can you get?
ChatGPT.
Latest version, ChatGPT. So easy to get information. But information is not sufficient. To give again a very simple example. So here in Bangalore, everyone likes gulab jamuns? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. So suppose, hypothetically, suppose you have never eaten a gulab jamun in your life. At least in this life. And somebody comes and gives a 1-hour lecture on gulab jamun. What are the ingredients, how it is prepared, everything, first class lecture. At the end of the lecture, what will be your response?
Where is gulab jamun?
He says, where is gulab jamun? I don't know if it is in Prashad today. But by hearing that 1-hour lecture on gulab jamun, can you understand the taste of gulab jamun? No. But now, assuming that all of you have tasted gulab jamun, if there's an announcement that today gulab jamuns are going to be distributed, anyone requires invitation? Anyone requires? No, announcement is also not required. Automatically the news will spread. So many people come. In ISKCON we often have this experience, right? How many of the people are there for lecture, but for Prashad there will be double the number. So the point is, why? Why there is attraction towards the gulab jamun? Why there is attraction? Because there is full realization about the taste. Correct? There's a full realization about the taste of the gulab jamun. Therefore, there is attraction. The same principle applies. So, if one has realization about the taste of Krishna consciousness, then no invitation is required. Now, we all have experience in our preaching. If we want to call people for the program, then a lot of invitation, follow-up, a lot of things required, right? Why? Yes, because there is no attraction, there is no realization of the taste of Krishna consciousness. That realization, as devotees also, if we want that taste in Krishna consciousness, that realization of that taste, because as we know, amongst all the tastiest of things in this universe or the entire creation, what is the tastiest? The holy name, which is not different from Krishna. Therefore, Rupa Goswami says, when those two syllables, Krishna, enter my ears and through the ears into the heart is captured, and I'm thinking, what? Does he say, why I have 2 years? Or why only 2 years? There is a big difference between the two. So, that is the taste he is experiencing. But to experience that taste requires grace, requires mercy. So when we follow the instructions of Guru and Krishna sincerely, that attracts grace, that attracts mercy. And by that mercy one gets realization. And when one has that realization, one gets full faith and conviction in the process of devotion. There is no need of invitations. There is no need of telling people, oh, please come, today's class, please come, please come. One will naturally be attracted because there is taste. Therefore, what is very important for us is to attract the grace by sincerely following the process that Srila Prabhupada and our Acharyas have given. We need to have faith in that process and follow that sincerely. Nothing very difficult, right? Srila Prabhupada has not given some very difficult instructions. Very simple. Chant at least 16 rounds attentively. And follow the 4 regulative principles. Come regularly into the association of devotees. Regularly read, hear. Srila Prabhupada has taken so much trouble to give all these books, which are meant only for selling. Okay, that's also important. But then, along with that, reading regularly. So we need to follow that process. Then when Guru and Krishna are pleased, when there's realization, then one will have faith and conviction. Then one's progress in devotional service can be very swift. So therefore, the qualification required to understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is what? Non-enviousness. Then one can develop that faith. With an envious attitude, if one is thinking, oh, why only Krishna is the enjoyer, why not me? Then one cannot develop that faith. So, here in the purport, Srila Prabhupada is quoting verse from the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, 10th verse. Maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetuna nirakamteya jagat viparivartate. So Krishna himself is speaking about his own Aishwarya, his own glories in the Bhagavad Gita. And especially in this 9th chapter, there's an entire section from verses 4 to 10 where Krishna is speaking about himself and his energies. So Krishna himself is speaking about his Aishwarya. Why? Somebody may say, oh, Krishna is very, very egoistic. He's speaking about his own Aishwarya. Now, why is he speaking? Srila Prabhupada gives a simple example. He says, just like if a very big man, like a prime minister or president, and you want to know about his glories, very difficult to understand unless he tells you. So therefore, what to speak of Krishna whose glories are unlimited? So how can we understand? Ordinary conditioned soul, very difficult. So therefore, out of his mercy, Krishna himself is telling about his glories. Of course, this is only insignificant speck of Krishna's glories. Is revealing in the Bhagavad Gita. So this entire section from verses 4 to 10, it's a very philosophical and very important section. Takes quite a long time to understand, but because Srila Prabhupada is quoting that, so I'll just summarize that section. So that we have faith that why Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It's not something sentimental. We worship Krishna not because, oh, he looks beautiful. Beautiful blue boy. Is that why we worship? Okay, that could be one of the reasons. But we need to understand philosophically. Prabhupada is quoting here. Janmadhyasya yata janma adi. He is the cause of creation, maintenance, annihilation. He is doing all this. He is controlling all of us. And this entire creation is a manifestation of his energies. There is nothing in this creation that can be separate from Krishna. Because 7th chapter 4th verse. What is 7th chapter 4th verse? Yes. Bhumi rapo nalavayu kammano buddhirevacha ahankare me bhinna prakriti rashada. So Krishna is saying all this, what you see in this universe, this is all my apara prakriti. Again, 9th chapter 4th verse. What Krishna is saying? Maya tadamidam sarvam jagat avyakta murti namatstani sarvabhutani na chamte shavastita. So Krishna is saying this entire jagat, this entire universe, I manifest through my unmanifested form, that is his energy. So everything is Krishna's energy, everything is related to Krishna, nothing can be separated from Krishna. Can you tell one thing that can be separated from Krishna? Can you? Nothing. Everything is related to Krishna. So then, somebody may say that, okay, if everything is related to Krishna, then can we worship anything as Krishna? So sometimes we find somebody is worshipping a tree, somebody is worshipping a stone. Here also we find. Okay. So can we worship anything and everything as Krishna? Because everything is related to Krishna. Can we worship? No, we can't worship. Why? Because there is energy and energetic. So these are a siddhanta which all devotees should understand. It's a very basic siddhanta, which everyone should understand. Therefore, we are speaking about this. There is Shakti and Shaktiman. Srila Prabhupada, simple example to explain this. There is sun and sunshine. Who's Shaktiman? Sun. Who's Shakti? Sunshine. So is sunshine equal to sun? Is sunshine equal to sun? No.
No.
Okay, some are saying yes and no. So prove your answer. Okay, part of sun. So if you say yes and no, who said yes and no? Yes, prove. Explain your answer. Your answer is correct. Can you explain?
Ray sunshine comes from sun, so we experience sun through sunshine.
Yes.
So in that sense, they are one.
Yes.
But they are different because we can't call sunshine as equal to sun.
Why not?
Because it is kind of related, but still there is some sense of separation.
Okay, your answer is correct. Prabhupada says puts it in a very simple way. Why sunshine is equal to the sun? Because sunshine is as powerful as the sun. How do you prove it? So you take a convex lens and you converge the sun rays at the focal point, you place a piece of paper, what happens? It burns. So that means what? Sunshine is as powerful as the sun. But at the same time, sunshine is not as good as the sun. So you can say sunshine has entered into the room. If sun were to enter into the room, what will happen? Yes, we will never see the sunshine again. So that is the relationship between energy and energetic. That is the relationship between Shakti and Shaktiman. So therefore, is the Shakti of Krishna, but at the same time, everything cannot be worshipped as Krishna. There is simultaneous oneness and difference. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's philosophy of Achintya Bheda. So now, somebody may say, oh, okay, so Krishna is spread throughout this entire creation through his different energies, he's maintaining everything, he's doing all this work. So Krishna must be really very tired, isn't he, doing all this work? Maintaining all these millions of universes, very tired, isn't he? What is it? He's very tired. Krishna hardly bothers about these material universes. Prabhupada in one lecture is saying, have you ever seen a photo of Krishna? He is so much of tension, maintaining all these universes. Have you ever seen like that? Now, what is Krishna doing? Always, any photograph you see of Krishna, what do you see? He's simply enjoying, playing on his flute. Even while killing demons, what is he doing? Huh? Yeah, he's dancing, especially on whom he danced? Yes, he danced on Kaliya. Kaliya is such a ferocious serpent with thousands of hoods. But what Krishna was doing? Dancing so beautifully and smiling. So Krishna has no problem maintaining all these things. So Krishna is in full control of all these universes. He is doing creation, maintenance, annihilation, is doing all this, but at the same time he is totally detached. Udasin. Now, can any one of us do that? I don't know, maybe some of you are managers in some companies or whatever. So, if you're a manager of a company and you decide that for 1 month you'll become Udasin Baba and you'll take off and not bother about the company for 1 month, what will happen? What? Say that?
Company will not bother to
So after 1 month, whether the company will remain is a question mark, right? But here we find Krishna is in the spiritual world playing on his flute, enjoying. He's not even bothering about this material world. Everything happens simply by his desire, and yet there is full control. He's totally udasin. Krishna says that. 9th chapter, I suppose this is the 9th verse, 8th or 9th verse, Krishna says, he's udasin, udasinavat. He's neutral. He's hardly bothering. But yet, just to clarify, don't think I'm udasin and I'm not in control. So immediately he says what? Maya adhyakshena prakriti. I am adhyaksha. You know adhyaksha?
President.
Adhyaksha president. Adhyakshata. Under my supervision. Everything is happening under my supervision. As the well-known English saying, not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme. Full control, but yet everything happens automatically by his different energies. Krishna has no stress problem. In Bangalore, a lot of stress, right?
Yes.
Just traveling in Bangalore is a stress. What to speak of anything else? This is Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna. Therefore, we have to understand all this philosophically so that we understand, first of all, that I am not Bhagwan. And secondly, to not accept any Tom, Dick and Harry as Bhagwan. Here in South India, some Kalki avatar, some this, that, some. Prophet says in India, in every lane there is a Bhagwan. So many Bhagwans produced in the factory of India. So therefore we have to understand who is Bhagwan, what is his position, what he can do. This is his glory, this is Aishwarya, this is opulence, perfect control, but still udas, enjoy. And then Srila Prabhupada makes a very important point. All the wonderful transformations, Prabhupada actually repeats the statement. What? First he says, devotees can see how the Lord is acting behind the wonderful workings of the material nature. And then again he says, all the wonderful transformations of nature are happening under the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of God. Everything in this entire creation is happening under the superintendence, Mayadhyakshena, of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada has written a very beautiful statement in the purport to the invocation mantra of the Ishopanishad. If we realize this one statement that Srila Prabhupada has written, 100% we can be totally blissful for the rest of our lives. If we just realize, understand this one statement. You know what is written? Yeah, that is the verse. We are talking about a sentence from the purport. If you can at least memorize, the realization will come later, but at least if you can memorize this statement, it will be good. Maybe sometimes it will come to our help. So please repeat after me. All forms of incompleteness are due to incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. So sometimes Prabhupada's statements of the purport require another purport. And so much can be said about just this one statement. All forms of incompleteness means what? We think that there is something incomplete in this creation, right? So sometimes people say, oh, why in this world mishaps and so many problems, or why the plane crash, and why the earthquake, and why the wars? Most probably Krishna has gone out of control, right? Just like the pilots went out of control. Is it like that? Possible? So, if we are thinking like that, all forms of incompleteness, if we are thinking there's something incomplete in this creation, there's something wrong in this creation, there's something wrong that's happening in my life, why miseries are happening to me? Why there's a problem in my life? I become a devotee and such an exalted devotee, and I'm preaching and I'm doing so many wonderful things. And why there is a problem in my life? That means there's something incomplete. But Srila Prabhupada says all forms of incompleteness are due to what?
Incomplete
Knowledge of the complete whole. Who's that complete whole? So, if we are thinking that there is something wrong in this creation, it is only due to our incomplete knowledge about the superintendence of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As far as the Supreme Lord is concerned, whatever He does is 100% perfect, whether I understand it or not. The reason why we fail to understand is because we are seeing everything from a very limited perspective. What is our perspective? Well, can we remember even everything that has happened to us in this life? Even in this life, or whatever be the number of years that you spent so far, we can't remember everything. And then what to speak of unlimited previous lives? Unlimited previous lives. Our perspective is very small. But we should have faith that as far as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna is concerned, He is in full control, and at the same time, He is Suridam Sarvabhutanam. He is the best well-wishing friend of every living entity. Therefore, whatever He does with every living entity is for what? Is for the best benefit of that living entity. If his best friend, can he do something that is not beneficial for his best friend?
No.
Whatever he does is for the best benefit of every living entity. If I cannot understand this, the reason is my incomplete knowledge. And complete knowledge, I need to understand. Regularly read Srila Prabhupada's books. Therefore, I need to read Prabhupada's lectures. Therefore, I need to regularly come to the temple to attend these programs so that I can try to get, at least try to get, complete knowledge of the complete whole. Then there will be no cause for illusion and lamentation. And that is what we can learn from this verse. So we can learn from this verse how we have to come to the non-envious platform to understand Krishna. Only on the non-envious platform one can develop faith. And then when one develops faith, then one can actually understand this philosophy, realize this philosophy, and then one can understand that how Krishna is perfect and complete. And if I am thinking that there's something incomplete, it's only due to my incomplete knowledge of the complete. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Sorry for not obeying your instruction to end at 10:15. What to do? Sometimes the tongue cannot be controlled. So it's already time up, but question could be small. Don't know the answer.
Thank you, sir.
Advait go for it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Guruji. It was really a wonderful insights from the purpose. So I just wanted to ask from the provocation statement you mentioned from Vishwapanishad.
Invocation.
That you mentioned that the incompleteness, the feeling of incompleteness is because of the incomplete knowledge of the complete whole. Is it even possible for those to have complete knowledge ever about the complete whole?
No.
So he's always destined to be incomplete.
But Krishna can reveal whatever is required for the insignificant living entity to understand him. The second canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, Shukdev Goswami, Narad Muni, they all explain that even Brahma, Shiva, Narada, four Kumaras, they also cannot understand everything about the Supreme Lord. Why? Because if anyone can understand everything about the Supreme Lord, they become equal to the Supreme Lord. The moment somebody says, I understand everything about the Supreme Lord, that means what? That means they're on the same level as Bhagwan. Is it possible? No. Therefore, what to speak of anybody else? Even Krishna cannot understand everything about himself. And Prabhupada explains this so beautifully in one of the purposes to the second canto. He says, when Krishna tries to understand his own qualities, by the time he has counted his own qualities, they've increased. So he says there is a constant competition between increment and measurement. There is a constant competition between increment and measurement. Therefore, Krishna himself cannot understand everything about himself. And in order to understand why Srimati Radharani is so attracted towards him, he came as Chaitanya. So if Krishna himself cannot understand everything about himself, what to speak of anybody else? Purport to Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 3rd verse. Srila Prabhupada writes, even the pure devotees can know only something about the Supreme Person. But at the same time, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 10th chapter, 10th verse, what? Tesham sadayuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. But Krishna gives that intelligence and knowledge, whatever is required for the conditioned soul to go back to him. That much Krishna will reveal. Okay, Ram.
Yeah, thank you.
Only one question.
Oh, wait. We'll come back to you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, thank you for the insightful lecture. Prabhuji, so there's always question is how the faith is actually coming into the picture, because that is the beginning of, so whether for a new devotee or non-devotee, like whether it comes from the various karmas, probably if you can elaborate a little bit on that.
So I think so. We that was the first point of our discussion. I think we came a bit late. So in any case, Srila Prabhupada writes this very clearly in the purport to 9th chapter 3rd verse, Bhagavad Gita. 9th chapter 3rd verse, somebody know? Ashadadhana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu samsara vartmani. So ashadadhana purusha. So somebody who does not have faith, what is the result? Krishna is explaining. So in that purport, Srila Prabhupada writes very clearly, faith develops by association. Faith comes by associating with one who has faith. Very simple. So, Prabhupada gives a simple example. See, nobody is born with the habits of drinking and smoking, right? Nobody is born with these habits. How one develops habits? By associating with someone who has faith in smoking and drinking. So, some person has faith that by smoking and drinking you will become happy. By burning the lungs, you become happy. Of course, interesting point we all know on the cigarette pack. What is written?
Tobacco causes cancer.
I saw a similar thing recently in the airports. Some of the airports these days they're having smoking lounges. You've seen that, right?
Yes.
And where was this? I don't know if it was in. It was in Delhi, right? So even on the door of the smoking lounge, they have put this. Smoking is injurious to health. But just imagine, in spite of all these warnings, how much faith that person has in smoking. Think about it. How much faith he has that the smoking will give me happiness. From where he has got the faith? By association. Somebody has told him that. That is why, by regularly associating with that person, he develops that faith. That by the smoking, I'll become happy. Same principle applies. So, to the degree one associates with somebody who has faith, then, that's what I was saying in the beginning of the class. Those hippies and all didn't understand much philosophy. They couldn't understand Prabhupada's Bengali accent. They couldn't understand much. But by associating to this person loves Krishna, that much they understood. And what are we supposed to do? We are also supposed to do the same thing. Therefore, they took up the process. Not because they understood much philosophy. Well, they had faith that Srila Prabhupada has not come to cheat us. They developed faith. They accepted the process. To the extent they were ready to sacrifice their lives for Srila. So therefore, that association is very important. And therefore, so much importance is given to regularly reading and hearing. That is the way we associate. The way to associate with the acharyas, with the great souls, is essentially by hearing. That is how one gets associated. Therefore, you will find when Srila Prabhupada would sometimes speak in Hindi in India, so sometimes the Western devotees would try to get up to go. Srila Prabhupada would immediately say, "Sit down." No, we can't understand. No need to understand. Just the sound vibration will have effect. The spiritual sound vibration of the pure devotee is so potent. It injects that faith. That faith is injected by that sound vibration. Of course, if one can understand the philosophy, then that's very good. Then one will develop more faith. But that sound vibration itself is so potent. If you want a reference for this is 4th canto, 20th chapter, 25th verse, purport. 2nd paragraph of the purport. If you want, you can check. So Srila Prabhupada writes, the sound vibration of a pure devotee may appear to be like ordinary sound vibration. But that sound vibration touches the saffron mercy dust particles at the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore that sound vibration is so spiritually potent that when it enters the ears of the conditioned souls, then the conditioned souls who have been sleeping up until that point of time, they wake up and there is transformation. So therefore, the pure devotee's sound vibration is filled with what? What?
Transcendental vibration.
Mercy dust particles, saffron dust particles from the lotus feet of the Supreme. It is filled with mercy of the Lord. Why? Because that pure devotee, by his sacrifice, by his service to the Supreme Lord, has attracted that mercy. This should be our criterion from whom to hear. It should not be based on something superficial. Who speaks more jokes and who speaks more stories and what is attractive to my mind? No. The basis for we are interested in spiritual progress, the basis of hearing has to be hearing from those who have attracted the mercy of the Supreme Lord by their service and surrender. Because then that sound vibration is filled with the mercy of the Lord. So now the choice is ours. Do we want only some spiritual entertainment or do we want transformation? Some people are whispering transformation. Most people these days want spiritual entertainment. If we want transformation, then we need to hear from those who have surrendered their lives, who have attracted the grace of the Lord by service and surrender. When we hear from them, that sound vibration is filled with spiritual potency, the mercy of the Lord, and that will bring about transformation. And that is how we can develop faith. Does it help you?
Yes, bro. Actually, I was prior to someone doesn't have any association. What is there any precursor to association? I mean, to get an association, you need to have some precursors, right?
Okay, okay, fine, okay. So, this is the subject matter of the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. And so there, Srila Rupa Goswami explains the concept of what is called as Ajnat Sukruti. So when one develops Ajnat Sukruti by taking part in some devotional activities unknowingly, just like devotees go on Harinam, just now there was some Harinam, right? So when devotees go on Harinam, then so many people are on the street, right? Maybe they never planned to hear the Harinam. But what to do when the Harinam goes on the street, they're forced to hear. But when that sound vibration goes into the ear, what develops? Ajnat Sukruti. Unknowingly developed Sukruti. So that is why Srila Prabhupada started all these activities. Harinam Sankirtan, book distribution, prasadam distribution. Therefore these activities are very important, because that is how we are giving people a chance to develop their Sukruti. And then when that Ajnat Sukruti matures gradually, when it becomes sufficiently mature, then one develops attraction. And that's how one comes into the association of devotees. Alright. If you want more details, you can there is some. Anything else? Okay, Mother, you here? Huh? Okay, Prabhu already has the mic, he has confiscated the mic.
So,
So you have the mic, why don't you speak into it?
I think, I don't know how to switch it on.
Hare Krishna. So, Varun Prabhu read my mind word by word. That was exactly the question word by word.
Good, so you have the answer.
So I got the answer.
Good, then what's your question then?
One extension to that would be, at one point of time, like, I'm just trying to clarify whether understanding is correct or maybe I'm wrong. So, reading all the scriptures, books, all this, like one of the ABCD P is one of the most crucial part. Reading at one point of time, is it needed when somebody realizes that why do I need to know all those things? All I know is my purpose here to chant Krishna's name, realize my real identity and the purpose, and go back. I don't need to know all these things. Why this?
To know what you just said, that's why you have to read.
So, my mental speculation is definitely, but what I understood, why do I need to? Because so that I can let somebody help me. I need to read all.
Yes. So we have to help someone to know what I don't know. And first of all, I need to help myself know. So therefore, unless we understand the philosophy properly, if we have the capacity to understand, if we understand, the more we understand Krishna's glories and the process of devotional service, our faith will develop. To give a simple example, so just like if suppose you didn't know who's the Prime Minister of India. Suppose you didn't know who's the Prime Minister of India, and he just walks into this assembly here. Or just imagine there's nobody else, because if other people know, then they'll create a commotion. So suppose there's nobody else in this room, you're alone, and the Prime Minister walks into this room. What will be your reaction?
No reaction.
Yeah, there'll be no reaction. Why? Why?
You don't know.
Yes, you don't know. But if you knew who is the Prime Minister of India, and if that Prime Minister walks into the room, you're alone, what will be your reaction?
I would greet him.
You would greet him and welcome him. There'll be a whole different reaction, right? Why? Because you have knowledge. The same principle applies. So if we don't have knowledge about the Supreme Lord, then why do only worship this blue boy playing a flute? So okay, today it looks attractive. Tomorrow if there's some trouble in my life, oh, this blue boy is giving too much trouble, maybe I'll go somewhere else. That is what will happen. Therefore, to develop that faith and conviction, why I need to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead at any cost, even though there may be troubles and challenges and problems, but still I need to worship the Supreme Lord at all times. To develop, therefore, Srila Prabhupada spent sleepless nights to give us these translations and purports.
Please. How does I know I have developed that faith?
How do I know that I've developed the faith? But that we can understand from one's own surrender to the process of devotional service. How much am I serious? That's why we gave that example of the IIT. You remember? IIT. So if one has developed that faith, the more one has faith, the more one will be serious to follow the process that has been given. That's the
In the
symptom.
scriptures, every single, giving example of Bhagavad Gita, every single sloka has the potential to give somebody the utmost faith.
Correct.
If you understand properly.
Yes.
For example.
Yes, that is correct. That is correct. But do I have that much realization to understand that one verse of the Bhagavad Gita? Yes, Prabhupada said that. What to speak of one verse, one line of a verse, one word of a verse, that is sufficient. But do I have that potential to understand? So therefore, we require to read everything, try to understand, come to the association of devotees. The entire process needs to be followed. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, one last question. How to develop the quality of being non-envious? How to develop the quality of being non-envious? Okay, so just a few points. The first thing is, all these various anarthas are present within our consciousness as time immemorial. They need to be purified. Cheto Darpana Marjanam. How will Cheto Darpana Marjanam take place? By chanting the holy names and by hearing Krishna Katha. That is the medicine by which this disease can be cured. So therefore, we need to seriously take this process of purification. And at the same time, also understand that how Krishna is in control. Why do I become envious of someone? When I see that somebody has, I become envious, correct? But if we understand why somebody has more than me, why somebody has more than me? Yes, because of their karmas. Ultimately, Krishna has given them. Krishna has given them something more, given me something less, or given me also something more. But everything is taking place under the superintendence, under the control of Krishna. So if I understand this philosophy, then what is the need to become envious? Because I understand that Krishna has given him something more, me something less. Everything is perfectly orchestrated by Krishna. Because he is Suridam Sarvabhutanam, he is the best well-wishing friend of all living entities. So if you understand this, therefore there is a peace formula. Bhaktaram Yagad Prasad, Sarvalokam Aishwaram, Suridam Sarvabhutanam, Gyatva Ma Shan. The moment we understand Krishna is in control, at the same time Krishna is the best well-wishing friend, whatever he does is perfect, so there's no need to become envious, there's no need to become frustrated, there's no need to go into depression, everything is perfect, I need to know my goal and work towards that goal. Does it help, Mother? Okay, fine, thank you all very much for your kind attention for this long time. So thank you all very much, and I'd like to express my gratitude, especially to His Grace Yugal Kishore Prabhu for kindly engaging me in some service, and to all of you for kindly attending this class. So looking forward to your association again in the future. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Hara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samit Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.